Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on heavy metal band Anthrax, a very significant band in the scheme of things. And just through the genre of heavy metal, we looked at sometimes what's required to break the noise, to break the silence, to get a word across. So she found that one encouraging as you look at how you get your words across. We're going from there to, well, completely different genre today. 1981, born in Kelang, Malaysia. But the family soon moved to Melbourne for Dad's work and then eventually moved to Adelaide. He got a bit of notoriety, I suppose, in 2002 to 2005 as one of the worship leaders of Paradise Community Church. And that was a well and truly well-known aspect of the guy we're talking about today, Guy Sebastian. Now, Guy auditioned for Australian Idol and everyone thought, wow, what an amazing voice this guy's got. He ended up, this is season 1 of Australian Idol, by the way, so this is a new format for Australia. We hadn't seen this before. I suppose it's always season 1's always the special season, isn't it? And very sure enough, Guy got through the whole thing, got to the final with Shannon Noel and ended up winning the grand final. And from that point onwards, the rest of history. It got quickly established that this guy had an amazing voice, a bit of groovy and soul and all sorts of stuff thrown in there. He's got an incredible range, and when he just gets up high, his voice just soars along the clouds. It's just the beautiful thing about him. At the start, he had a bit of a fro, and this became a bit of a trademark for him at the start, particularly during that first album, Just As I Am, and became a bit of a trademark for him for a while. And so when you win Australian Idol, you get a single released, and sure enough, Guy Sebastian sang Angels Brought Me Here. Of course, a guy of faith, Angels Brought Me Here was the perfect song for him to sing because it's all about the long and winding journey of what was Australian Idol, but not just Australian Idol, but the journey to that point, moving from another country and the rest of it. This is a very, very significant song, this one, because up to this point, up to 2011, this was the highest selling single in Australia of all time. Before it was superseded by The Prayer by Anthony Kalia, who also was an Australian Idol, and I've already done him a little while back. But Angels Brought Me Here is a very, very significant song in Australia's history and certainly in Guy Sebastian's history. So we've got a live version and the official version of that one below. So, having won Australian Idol, around that time we also had World Idol. Another notable performance from Australian Idol was Climb Every Mountain, which is a classic song from Sound of Music. So he also did that one as well. He wasn't scared to go into places where other artists may be scared to go because he had the voice to do it. Then the World Idol, I think to capitalise on the idols that were going all around the world, the World Idol got together and all these countries came together, and Guy actually sang quite a laid-back, groovy, smoothie version of the Louis Armstrong classic, What a Wonderful World. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to do a world thing, I'm going to actually talk about how wonderful the world actually is. And so he absolutely pulled that one off. That's quite a groovy, laid-back version for What a Wonderful World, and perfect for Guy Sebastian to sing. It has been sort of touted that it was quite a risk for him to do that one, but he thought, what the heck, I'm going to give it a go, and he pulled it off absolutely. It's been with a couple of other albums. 2006 came closer to the sun, and a song I really like off this album is Elevator Love, looking at the ups and downs and surety and brilliance and sadness of love and all the complexity of what it is. I think it's great if we can ride the elevator, I suppose, of the good times and the bad times, but still stay together. It's only through the bad times that things tend to deepen. And so I think Elevator Love is a great song that looks at that very, very thing. Guy's actually been with the same girl all his life, since his married life, which is pretty cool. We've got a live acoustic television version of that one, and this is, Guy Sebastian has got an incredible voice, and nothing shows off his voice like this clip. So we pretty well kept the same pace of the original song. It just doesn't have got the drums in there, but the guitarists are absolutely going for it, absolutely. And then we get to Armageddon in 2012. I think the song I want to focus on, I haven't decided until this point, but I think I want to focus on Battle Scars, which came off Armageddon of 2012. This was a collaboration with Lupe Fiasco, who did the rap, and this went 11 times platinum, this particular single. Battle Scars, they're never going to go away, they're never going to fade. Battle Scars. Now, what scars are we talking about? We're not talking about physical scars, but we know, if you hurt yourself and it isn't fixed properly, you can get a permanent scar and all the rest of it. The human body's pretty good at healing scars if it's done properly. We're talking about emotional scars here. We're talking about the scars inside, which are a bit harder to see, a little bit harder to track, and a little bit harder to identify, but they're never going to go away. And I think this is the challenge of life. We are going to have scars that come. We think, wow, how did that happen? Wow, how did we even get here? I thought the relationship was going really, really good, and actually it's not. In fact, it's to quote the Beatles, it's yesterday. So it kind of leaves us bleeding a little bit internally. We think, wow, I don't know even how to be right now. How am I going to go forward with these battle scars? And this song really, really quite cuttingly talks about these battle scars are never going to fade, they're never going to go away. But there's also a little bit of hope, because there's a real resonance of this song. When you listen to it, you've been through the scars yourself, you think, well, yeah, okay, this guy gets me. And I want to listen to this song because it kind of sometimes makes me feel better. So if you've got battle scars going on right now, if you're looking for someone to come along and fix them, well, even though there might be some counsellors who can help you, you're the one that's going to have to do the work. And you're thinking, well, that's not fair. I didn't cause them in the first place. Well, the other person may not even realise they've done anything. This is a scary thing about human existence. So one step at a time, hey. And I think never fading. There's something in that too, and that is that we don't think life experience. We never can discount it, even the bad stuff. But what are we using? How are you using those scars to actually make us a better person going forward? Because if we don't do that, there's no point having the bad times. So we grow through the bad times, absolutely. So a great song, great vocal by Guy Sebastian there. And off that same album, just for something completely different, Don't Worry, Be Happy. This is the official clip on that one. A bit of a different field, Battle Scars, Don't Worry, Be Happy. I don't think those songs really, really go together. I think he's talking about the fact that even if we've got battle scars, we can walk forward in a bit of a positive way. So quite a song of hope there. Then now 2020, the song Quiet took Australia by storm. For the album TRUTH with a dot in between. Luke Leanig, who was a long-time collaborator of Guy's, actually died from mental health issues, and so Guy had to sing this song to celebrate the fact that, well, not celebrate actually, to I suppose reflect, on the way probably Guy Sebastian knows, and that is through singing, the effect that this guy had on his life. And so, yeah, this song really, really took Australia by storm, and it won a few awards for its just poignancy and rawness, and Guy Sebastian absolutely nailed that song. So between 2003 and 2020, 9 studio albums, 1 live album, 1 compilation album, 30 music videos, 3 EPs, and 53 singles. 3 of those albums have got to number 1, 7 have got to platinum status or multi-platinum status, and he's actually had 23 singles in the top 20. So, this guy kind of knows how to write songs, because he's a bit of a songwriter, this guy. He also now has, obviously he knows how to sing, he knows how to produce. He's got a real well-rounded team behind him that whenever he does a release, Guy Sebastian absolutely nails it. Guy is quite a nice guy, but there we go. He's given his voice to a lot of causes, including Red Cross and World Vision and Ronald McDonald House. He's very generous with his time. If someone calls out for some help, he'll come and help out. I suppose there's an element of his faith that he's got right back in 2002. He's been able to bring that forward and find success in singing, and also to give his name to many causes, and Australia loves him for that reason. During Guy's career, he's won 13 ARIA awards for various categories of ARIA, 2 APRA awards, various fan awards. He's been nominated 139 times and won 51 of those, so pretty successful in the scheme of things. It's nice to know that the Australian Idol vehicle, even though many people haven't gone on for a career, sometimes Australian Idol does find people that do end up having a bit of career. Casey Donovan, Anthony Clear. Of course, in America, we've got Carrie Underwood and a few others like that. So the format does work sometimes, and this is really and truly the case with Guy Sebastian. He has some very sensible management behind him and enabled him to have a music career, which is pretty cool. So the links to those, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clips are in the description below. And I've also included, for something completely different, my last video from Anthrax, heavy metalists. If you want to recap on them, feel free. Well, if you come back for another one, or this is your first time to Live Reflection Through Music, as we consider this concept of battle scars, I trust you've been encouraged, absolutely. And thank you for coming back, as you always do, and for being part of this Life Reflection Through Music community that is forming. Well, that's it for today. Next time, and I think we're rounding out the G's next time, we're going to go on to Songstress Guyane. So until then, I'll catch you around.